I am going to do dividing and multiplying fractions, but before I start that lesson, I want to talk about changing mixed numbers into an improper fraction. Students will tell me they know they have to multiply 3 times 5, but when I ask them why they're multiplying it, they don't know why. So I'm going to explain why. You need to know this when you're multiplying dividing fractions. So if you look at the 3, I could replace it with 1 plus 1 plus 1, 3 wholes. Then I brought down the 2/5. So what I would like to do is I want to change this 1 whole into a fraction. That denominator 5 tells us that the denominator is going to be 5, and we know 1 whole has to be the same numerator and denominator. That's 1 whole. So I replace each whole with 5/5, and then I could bring down that 2/5. So if I were to add this, we would do 5 plus 5 plus 5, which is 15. If you notice, there are 3 sets of 5/5. That's what the 3 represents. The 3 represents 3 wholes, and each whole represents 5/5. That's why your teacher tells you to multiply the whole number 3 with the denominator 5. That whole number tells you how many sets of 5/5 you'll have. So if I were to solve this, I would do 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 plus 5 is 15, plus 2 is 17 over 5. And the denominator always stays the same when you're adding or subtracting fractions. So that's how I changed the mixed number 3 and 2/5 into 17 over 5. It's an improper because the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So let's look at 6 and 1/3. That 6 represents 6 1 wholes. So I could write it out like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I brought that 1/3 over. I'm going to replace each whole with the denominator 3, and you know 3/3 equals 1 whole. So that 6 whole represents how many 3/3? And this is a lot, so you don't need to write this all out. That's why you can multiply 6 times 3. The 6 represents how many 3/3 there'll be. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you could do 6 times 3 to get 18 plus 1, that's why you add the numerator, to get 19 over 3. And that's another example of changing a mixed number into improper fraction. So now we're ready to multiply with fractions.